Hey guys, welcome to my Patreon, and today we're gonna talk about how to do hair on Blender. So here it is, our Blender file, where I'm gonna do the hair. If you guys are already familiar with this 3D piece, it's Maiko, and she has like a tiger here, but I took it all off just for this video's purpose, and we're gonna redo her hair. So first things first, I'm gonna grab the reference, because she's based on somebody real. And here's a reference, and we're gonna start by the way paint. So if you're not familiar with hair at all, I'm gonna go a little bit over the principles of like doing hair. So here we have the reference, and then from object mode, we're gonna go into way paint, because this is basically where we're gonna determine where the hair is gonna go. So we're gonna go to data, and that's where you're gonna create a vertex group, and then you're going to be able to paint where your hair is going to go. But before we get into it, because this is a multi-resolution object, when you do your weight paint, the paint is pretty rough. So I'm going to show you what I have now for the eyebrows. If I'm trying to create more space for the eyebrows, I either have to go pretty wide. So I don't have, it's not very refined, because this is a multi-resolution um, mesh. So it always takes into consideration the primary forms, the base mesh, which is a low poly, which in other words is a very low resolution mesh. So you cannot get refined with the hair. For that, we're going to duplicate this base mesh. So we're going to go ahead with Shift D, and we're going to press escape. And now we have two meshes that are literally the same. So what we're going to do here is we're going to apply the multi-resolution mesh. And the reason for that is because we're going to disregard, or we're going to take out the multi-resolution feature. So the base mesh becomes a lot more refined. And then we can get into those details for the baby hair and make sure that the part looks really good. Um, so for us to apply the base mesh, I have um, shape keys here that I have to delete or apply all shape keys. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to my multi-resolution. This is the previous hair, so I'm just gonna delete all of those. So delete all of the hair. Now I'm gonna apply the multi-resolution mesh at a level of 2. Applied. So let me go to edit mode, and as I can see here, it's a pretty detailed mesh. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into weight paint. So basically, what we will do here is we're gonna create a new vertex mode, and we're gonna paint the hair. Okay, we're gonna do either add or draw, and then we're gonna do weight 1, and we want to make sure that the symmetry is enabled and topology mirror is enabled. So whatever you do on one side, you can do on the other side. Okay, once that's done, you have your whole hair area painted. You are going to go, you're going to go into edit mode, select whatever you chose, and we're going to do the part. I already did those steps, so I'm not going to redo them. I'm just going to briefly explain to you. So basically, I would remove whatever part is from one side, select what I want to select, and vice versa. So for example, I would come here with my cursor on select lasso. I'm hoping I'm saying that right.
You are so.
And then I just deselected whatever else I had. So I'm going to create a new vertex group, and then I'm going to assign. Once that is done, I'm going to go back to hair. I'm going to duplicate the vertex group. And then the second vertex group that I created has one part of the hair. Once that is duplicated, I'm just going to go ahead and select. And then I'm going to remove. What does that mean? That whatever part that I previously created, I am removing from the hair overall. And then that creates the rest, which is this. So you have two different parts, hair 1 and hair 2. Once you have those two different parts, which both of them selected should total the hair, the total hair amount, you're gonna go back into your object mode, and we're gonna start with the particles. You're gonna create a new particle, and from emitter, you're gonna switch to hair. And as you can see, you have hair all over. And then you're gonna go down there, and in vertex groups, you're gonna choose a different density, which is gonna limit to where you want the hair. That's why we created the weight groups. So I'm gonna start with hair 01. Actually, no. I'm gonna start with hair 02 because it's the bigger size. And I wanna start with that because that's gonna be harder to make. And I'm gonna start with the harder part. And then you're gonna do the density and the length. So her hair, I don't know if it's how long that is, but I'm assuming it's not as long as this. So I'm just gonna put a 0.2 length on her hair. Which could be that. And then from object mode, we're gonna start creating the hair. But I already know my settings for the hair. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose the hair shape. And this is one of the key things when making hair. You want to make sure that you have a 1 to 0.1. So the diameter root 1, the tip 0.1, the diameter scale, I usually add 2 zeros. So 0.0001. And then from there, I'm going to go to particle edit. And as you can see here, you can then comb the hair. We're going to go with strand 1, and we're just going to comb. Oh, you guys saw that when I combed the hair, it actually came out of the head. That means that we have one tool that's not enabled, which is root positions. You want to make sure that you preserve the root positions as you're combing the hair, so it doesn't come out of the scalp. So I'm just gonna brush it back here first. I'm actually gonna enable this tool, which is the X-ray, just to make sure that I'm getting the hair from like everywhere. And then I'm gonna decrease the strength. And I'm gonna start combing it back. Just like that. Here I want to make sure that the hair is not through her ears, but it's coming up. Okay. Let's see what it's looking. I'm gonna disable the X-ray, and now I'm looking at the hair. It's all the way back because that's what I did. So I want to make sure that the hair is actually coming to the side. So keep coming into the side. Here on the back, I want to make sure that it's straight. Okay. Keep coming to the side. And on the sides, I want to make sure it's a little closer to the scalp. So what we're gonna do now is, as you can see, the hair is like coming, it's like going through the mesh instead of coming up. So we want to make sure that we're gonna bring that up a bit so it's not giving that bald effect. There are a couple of ways that we can do that, but I'm just gonna choose or select all the hairs. Control A. Okay, Control A, or just A, I guess. We're gonna disable scale, and we're gonna comb the hair up. But if you comb the hair up, you're gonna have to go a very long way to make sure that those strands are showing up. So what you want to do is you want to subdivide your hair. Some people, they like to subdivide only the roots, and you can, but the thing with subdividing only the roots is that when you keep your subdivisions levels for the hair at a lower level, you have more control over the hair, and that's easier to manage overall. But at the same time, if I'm just selecting the roots, I might not be selecting everything, which you could just enable X-ray and then select the roots. But then again, at the same time, I'm not entirely sure of what I am selecting. So I just like to select everything so I know that everything is selected, subdivide all of them, which might give me a little bit more of a headache, but then I can rekey and bring the subdivisions levels a little lower, so I have more control over combing the hair throughout the process. Because if you do keep your hair at an extremely high subdivision level, that can give you a lot of headache when creating hair. And I've been through it, and it's something that you don't think is that important at first, but once you learn and you're like, damn, I was having all of this trouble just because of the subdivision level, you don't want to do that. I'm gonna subdivide again because the roots, they need to be they need to have that lower subdivision level. So now I'm gonna enable X-ray, and I'm just gonna bring everything up just a little bit. Okay, so as you can see now, the roots came up. So when you're looking at the hair, you're gonna be able to see the hair on top of the head before it was just going through the mesh. And this is what our hair is looking like right now. we want to make sure that we disable the show emitter because we already have our base mesh, so we don't need to show the emitter because this mesh is only for the hair. And then you want to increase the steps. I'm gonna go for like 6 or 7 on both the render and a viewport display. And this is what we have so far. It's never pretty when you start, but you gotta start somewhere. So the children from none, you're gonna go to interpolated, and now there's more volume to the hair. And then I'm gonna choose 100 just to see what it looks like. And as you can see, we can already see some problems with the hair going through the ears. It's a little bit messy here. Now we're gonna choose a different hair texture that I previously created, and I can show you guys all of the settings. We're gonna go to 3D viewport, and then we're gonna see what it looks like right now. Okay. So the hair is still pretty thick. I think I'm gonna make this hair a little less thick because it gives a very fake effect. And also the hair is pretty smooth, too smooth to be real. So I'm gonna do this half. That already helps a little bit. And instead of this texture, I'm gonna change to another texture. Yeah. The hair still looks pretty fake because there's no roughness to it. When you start increasing roughness to your hair, that makes it look a lot better. But before we get into it, let's just make sure that the hair is actually combed right. So we're gonna go back here, and now with the options, I have children displaying. So that means that if you don't know the difference between children hair and the hair that you're combing or the guides, children they're a virtual hair that you didn't create on the software, but the software creates by itself. So for every guide that I have here, I have 100 of children hair. So the hair that I'm actually combing right now is just a guide for the children. So when I come here, I can see the children actually changing as well. And this is what I want to focus on right now. Just making sure that the hair is combed and straight. I think, in my opinion, straight hair is the hardest to make because it's really hard to get to a straight hair that doesn't look fake. We're gonna keep coming, and basically this is the work, guys. There's no shortcut, there's no magic formula. You're just really gonna have to go through it and just be patient. Hair takes a very long time, and though I do want to show you the entire process, it's like for me to get to a very realistic result, it's gonna take a long time because hair is difficult, and it's everybody that does good quality hair is gonna probably tell you the same thing. Grooming is a lot of work. So here you can see some strands are already better. Still some problem here at the top. Starting to look a little bit less messy, but still, especially here at the top, there's some sort of hair's not entirely smooth. See, and then I'm gonna do X-ray so I can get these hairs out of the mesh. See what it's looking like. Okay, it's not looking too bad. And then X-ray again. I just really need to fix behind the ears. I think that's better. There's still a lot of messy hair around here, and I want to get to the root of it. So here is one example of when subdivisions levels are not helping you. So what I'm gonna do to the entire hair, I'm just gonna rekey, and I'm gonna do like a 14, which is good for long hair. Still a lot. See, let me see, 10. Particle rekey. And 10. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Less messy. But let's see how the roots are looking. Okay, not bad. Let's keep going. And honestly, I like what it is now. You're still gonna see hair going through her ears. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna select those hairs that are going through her ears. I'm gonna press Ctrl L so I can select the entire particle. And I'm gonna increase the strength, and I'm just gonna come in down. All of this hair is gonna come down. And instead of having this hair long like that, I'm just gonna cut it to make it a small hair to see what it looks like when I do that. Didn't necessarily solve the problem. Let's see. Okay. So what we're gonna have to do here, I'm just gonna delete those particles. And instead of having all of this hair from this, like the side right in front of the ear, I'm just gonna delete those particles, and then I'm gonna erase this from the weight paint. Wait, because then I can just do these hairs as with the baby hair, which is gonna be a lot more controlled. Add, draw. I'm gonna press Command Z because I did something there that I was not supposed to. And then I'm just gonna erase all of this. Boom. Now let's see what she's looking like. Particle edit. And there you go. Much cleaner. And then when I do this, I have to clean this up because I did something here. But now her hair is looking a lot cleaner. So let me go back to Way Paint and let me make sure that this is all. Boom. Nope, that was too much. I forgot to disable the X symmetry, so that's why I kept running into issues. So let's do it again. Make sure that there's nothing on this side. This looks clean. Perfect. So that is how I would start the hair. And then just keep refining, keep refining, keep refining. So what would I do to make this hair look a little bit more natural? I will come to roughness and put on random 0.01. So the one thing that I will do here is to keep going and making sure that the roots are visible, so you don't have this like balding effect when you have your part, because a part can be very, very challenging to make. So yeah. And that's it for this video, guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and see you next time.